Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. This is one of the cards, I think it was card number 4 that I did for my week 6 challenge, which was about using embossing folders. Again, like a previous one, I don't know if it's got a proper name or not, but I'm calling this split embossing, because the embossing's been done on the top piece and on the bottom piece, and obviously that's been done as 2 movements. So to start off with, the card pieces that you're going to need are a Whisper White card base, which measures, she says, bringing her book over, 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4, scored and folded down the middle. A piece of Crumb Cake, which measures 4 inches by 5 5/8. A piece of Whisper White that is 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And then for the banners, a piece of Whisper White, which is 3 1/2 by 1 1/2 inches, and a piece of Crumb Cake that's 3 3/4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. You'll also need a piece of Whisper White for the 3 little flowers there as well. So to start off with, I'm going to do the embossing. And the way I did this was I measured the top and the bottom, and I think that was 1 1/2 inches each, wasn't it? Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'll take my ruler and I'm going to measure 1 1/2 inches on both of these. So that's that one there, and 1 1/2 inches up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just need little light pencil marks. You don't need to draw this right the way across. So you've got 1 1/2 inches there, and then 1 1/2 inches there. Well, given that this layer, this is 5 1/2 long, that should have been 1 1/2 inch up, shouldn't it? Assuming that I've measured it correctly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring my big shot over, and you need your platform on tab 1. Well, depending on your machine, you know how it's best to do your embossing. On my machine, I know tab 1 is the best. I did have an older one, and it was definitely better to have no tabs on that one. Right, okay, the embossing folder I'm using is called Arrows. That's this one here. And what I'm going to do is, I've got my first cutting mat on my platform all lined up correctly. I'm going to take my Whisper White layer, and with the Sizzix facing me, I am going to line up my 2 pencil marks here. I'm going to line them up with that line that goes across there. Okay, so that is, and also I'm going to do this as much in the centre of this sheet as possible, because this sheet is not as wide as this one. In fact, you could do it both, you could do it either end, actually, thinking about it. Yes, you could, as long as you did both sides the same. But I started on this one, so I'll continue. Anyway, I have my 2 pencil marks lined up, except that one's gone walkabout slightly since I've been talking. Right, that's it, that's fine. So now I'm going to lay that in there, put my other cutting mat on top, making sure that the cutting mat just comes to the edge of my embossing folder. You can't see that, can you? let's move this better. Right, that's much better. So what I've done, I'll repeat that, is I've brought my other cutting mat on top and I've lined it so that it comes off of the straight line on my embossing folder there. Where's my paper piercer? It's probably got buried under here. Let's use a pencil tip. Along here, you see there's the line on the embossing folder. So my cutting mat has come over, but it hasn't come off the edge of this. See, this is the edge of the embossing. I'm scared that I'm going to draw on that. Knowing me, I probably would. Let's use scissors. Okay, so that's the edge of the embossing folder, and it's outside of this cutting mat. So what I need to do now is to push this through. There we go. Bring that back, and you will see that it has only embossed as far as the cutting mat came to. So I'm going to turn that around, still keeping it facing the same way. So that's got to face the Sizzix mark. And I'm going to line up my pencil marks again. And I'm going to make sure that my sheet of paper is as close to halfway between either end as possible. Right, that's all nicely lined up. So I'm going to repeat that. Okay, so lay that down, bring the mat up so that it goes over the straight edge on the actual design of the embossing folder. Make sure it comes over that bit, but don't let it come over this edge here of the embossing folder. Okay, and as long as that's straight, push it through. There we go. So we've got the two bits like that. Alright. So let me move this back out of the way. This must be quite a good exercise for me, keep lifting that over there. That's okay, don't mind exercise, especially if I can craft at the same time. Okay, now what I do with this, just to give it a nice finished edge, because when you look at it, you can see that it's not joined all the way across. I don't know quite how else to explain it. But I'm going to make that all join up together by, if I can put that on there, bring this so that you can see it, and with my embossing tool I am going to make, let's see, let's move it along here. It doesn't matter where you do this, it's just easy to do it there because you've got something to rest against. But with the camera up there, I can't get over there to do that. So what I've done is I have lined this line here, this last embossing line. In fact, no, turn it over. You want it turned over. That's right. Because the reason you're turning it over is so when you're doing the score line, it comes as embossed on the other side. You don't want it debossed. Okay, so the nearest line here is this one, and I'm just very carefully doing that down there. And if everything is straight, that is going to make a nice tidy line across there. Right, and I'm going to do the same on this one. Line that up. That's it. There we go. And there you can see how nicely that's finished it off. One complete line, top and bottom. It's a small detail, but I think it makes quite a nice difference to the card. It's really gives it that finished off look. So I'm going to put my layers together. I think I decided that SNAIL would be okay for this because there's a large area of flat card here. I always think twice when I'm trying to adhere embossed paper or cardstock down, because obviously glue's only going to stick on the debossed bits. Okay, so put that onto here. Let's try that again. That's better. And then I'm going to put this onto my card base. There we go. Okay, so for the sentiment, let's bring that back. I'm using my Stamp-a-ma-jig, and I don't know if you've seen an earlier video where I showed how to decide where to end your stamping if you're going to be using your triple banner punch. But the simple answer is you need to leave at least an inch. Now you can either measure it or you can just eyeball it. I'm going to measure mine. No doubt once I've done several of these I'll be a bit more confident about just going for it. But at the moment I'm being very careful. I think it's one of those things, after you've done it goodness knows how many times, you just get so used to eyeballing it, you know exactly what it is, what you're doing. Okay, so I have this, which is going to fit in here somewhere. In fact, that's going to move, isn't it? Let me do this just a tiny little bit and then try and get some of the sticky off. Okay, let's try that. Oh, my ink, I'm going to use Crumb Cake ink. I have my stamp ready and Stamp-a-ma-jig. I don't know if you can see the pencil line from up there, but I can, and I'm making sure that my sentiment stays within inside that. Right, straight. I think so. Something else I've started doing as well, as from today, in fact this is the first one I've done it on, because I don't put the pictures on the back of my stamps, I'm going to start putting arrows on the back so I know which is the top. The amount of times I've stamped upside down is just staggering. I try and remember to check my stamps before I do it, but I so frequently don't remember. Okay, so there we go. Right, okay, so that's the other part of my banner, and I need my eraser. This is the only disadvantage of actually drawing the line to guide me. But that's all right. Certain things I have patience for and other things I don't. So this piece is, what did I say, 1.5 inches? Yes. So that will fit in there really nicely. Make sure it goes in right the way through. Oh, try unlocking it. So it's been a long day today. Right, now let's try. Okay, so in you go. Yep, that's through. And punch. Now we find out whether what I've been telling everybody works. Yay, look. That's good. That's in. Now this one is 1 3/4. In case you didn't see my video of how you get these odd sizes, because this is 2 inches, 1.5 inch and 1 inch. If you want 1 3/4, what you need to do is put it in the 2 inch one, and then once you know you've got it right the way through, then you line it up like that, so you got the same amount gap down this channel as you had that channel. It's not going to be absolutely precise, but it does do it very, very closely. Okay, so we do that one, take that off, and then this will line up really nicely like that. Otherwise, if I'd done the 2 inch size, it would have had too much of a border around it for my liking. This one on this card here I did manually, and that was really quite a lot of faffing around. Okay, so we pop this on with Snail. Tweezers. There we go, and I've popped that onto dimensionals. Did I bring some over? Yes, I did. Okay, so I think we'll have 5. 5 seems like overkill, but 4 isn't going to protect the centre there. And if you just stick your fingernail on them like that, it gets the paper up really nice and easily. There we go. Where's my card gone? Here we go. Place that in the centre, straight if you can. Don't know. Let's hold it up first to do it. Yes, that's better. Okay, and then my flowers. Oh, I didn't bring the Pictogram punches stamp set over. What did I call it? I should have said Pictogram punches. Right. There's two stamps in here for the little flower that you can choose from. I did that one last time. Let's do something different this time. Right. Little piece of Whisper White. Crumb Cake Ink. There we go. Now this punch does have a right and wrong way to it. And the way to line it up is, I always aim to do this. There's my paper piercer. I always aim to line up to this one here, and the piece that actually lines up is, when you look at the stamp, that one there that's just got like a squiggly line, that's got one dip. That's got one dip plus one, I suppose. That's got one dip, but that's more like a squiggly line, and that's the one that will go into that part of the punch there. Okay, now let's see if I'm right. I've got two here. Yes, that one. That one. You see how that lines up? And then turn it around. That's not going to work because I kept it facing the same way, didn't I? So I've cut that off and that, and then I should be able to do it. Yep, that's spot on as well. Okay, and then all I'm going to do with these is, what did I do, glue? Yes, Tombow. So let's give them a bit of dimension first. Turn them over. You can see that I've got some writing on the back there. I'm not sticking it right the way down, it's quite possible that it could be seen. That's as far as I can go with that one. Okay, so this one can go here. This one can go here. And this one that got a little bit scrunched up during me using the eraser, I'm going to put it up against that bit there. That's better, you stay that way. I'll arrange those properly once the glue has dried a bit more, and then that medium-sized curls. Wondered what that was shining at me. It's one of the backings off the dimensionals. There we go. There we go. Now, what do you think about that technique? I like it, and it's certainly the kind of thing that I'll be doing again. In fact, I am thinking about doing that in my classes too. I've got so many ideas for my classes at the moment. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to be really ahead of myself. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I hope it's taught you something new. Not learned you something new. Hope it's taught you something new and that you give it a try. Many thanks for watching my video. If you have any questions, please contact me. As always, I will be happy to help you. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button on the right hand side of the screen, or depending on what you're watching the video on, it may be below the screen. If you'd like to buy any of the products that I've featured here, please click on the link below, which is at the bottom of the screen rather, and that will take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.